Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 5 of the Tumbi build project. So in the previous episode I was showing how I put the dowel through the side of the body, through the neck to hold everything in place, and had made the top, which is going onto the instrument. And I said that the next job was to fit the kerfing, and I also said that that's going to be quite a fiddly, awkward job, and it was, so I did it off camera. Wasn't really that exciting to watch. It probably took me 40-45 minutes to put all the kerfing in. Despite having soaked it in water, it was still brittle and it still kept breaking into small pieces. So but I managed to get the job done and it was all clamped up, so that was yesterday. So now I'm just going to remove the clamps and see how it looks. It should be just fine. Okay, so let me just come down a bit more, zoom in. No, I won't need to zoom in. Yeah, I will. Just a bit. Right, so let's take off all the clamps. Let's find something to put them in, out of the way. I'll just put them over there, that's fine. Okay. So yeah, it really was an awkward and fiddly job. It can be difficult enough doing kerfing, but on something this small, it's a blooming pain. Okay, so it's not the prettiest job in the world, but you ain't going to see it. So long as it's functional, that's the main thing. Yeah, there's a little bit of unevenness. That was expected because it's, you know, it's in so many pieces. But provided it's 3mm deep all the way around, so I'm just going to check that now. It will be good. So let's just start at the top there. Yeah, it's about 3mm. Slightly deeper in some places, but I would prefer it to be deeper than shallower, because it means that the top will sit, you know, further inside, and if necessary I can just kind of, you know, file and sand the edge of this down to meet the top. I'd rather sand that than the actual top. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just measuring the depth of this. Yeah, it's all looking pretty good. So it's slightly uneven, but that's not going to matter. Let's check that looks quite high. No, that's perfect. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. Now I'm not actually going to fit the top just yet, because once I do, you know, obviously it will need time for the glue to set and I won't be able to do any other jobs. So I'm going to do some other jobs first. So the first thing I want to do is get the camera in the right angle. I want to start to fit the tuner. So what I've done is I've basically taken the tuner apart so that I can use this part as a template. So the body of this tuner from this end up sort of tapers outwards, so I'm going to get that to match the taper on the headstock. So I need a mechanical pencil, preferably one that works. Which appears not to be this one. No, okay, let's try the other one. Wow. I need to get a better one of these. Why is that not working? Okay, that one's working now. Right. So, I want. Yeah, I've really not got much space to work with here, so I've got to make sure I get it absolutely perfectly. And I know you're not going to see what I'm doing too well, but I'm basically just lining this back plate up on the headstock. Make sure it's central, top and bottom, side to side, and then I'm going to use the pencil to mark the screw holes. So let me just get above that so I can really see what I'm doing. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'll mark the bottom one first. Right, I'm just gonna. Where's my ruler gone? Who stole my ruler? There it is. Just measure that side to side, make sure that looks about right. So we've got from one side, that's 8.5 millimeters and 8.5 millimeters. Who'd have thought it? Okay, that's perfect. So I'm just going to drill a pilot hole for the screw. And I know it's too late to change it now, but I just want to measure that again, make sure we're still central. We've got 8.5 and we've got 8.5. Okay, how deep did I go with that hole? Go a little bit more. I'm only using quite short screws on this. Don't know if you can see that. Right, so I'm going to put the first screw in so that I can line up this is the bottom one, and I can do that so that I can line up the top one. So, first screw going in. And as I said, I am mounting these tuners effectively upside down because I want the tuning post higher up. Right, let's just tighten that screw down a bit. Okay, line that up. I do prefer to line things up by eye. I know you should measure, but sometimes that's actually more difficult. Right, I'm pretty happy with that. So put a pencil mark there. Okay, just loosen that screw, move that out of the way, and then measure again. Okay, we've got 10.5? 10.5 and 10.5. Wow. Okay. I'm not going to complain at that. Right, so I'll drill that hole too. Just check again. And we've got 10.5. And 10.5. Dang! Right, so put the other screw in. Okay. Going in. Where's that not going in? Just drill that a little bit more. Right, one more try. Now it's going in. There we go. Okay, I won't do them up real tight just now, I just want it snug down. So now that I've got that backing plate on there, I will actually use this as the guide to drill the hole through there. So I'll actually drill straight through there. I've got my my drill stand. I've forgotten what they called it. Pillar drill. Thank you. I've got it set up with the right size drill bits, 5mm. So I will do that shortly. But I also now want to fit the little eyelet on the end that the string is going to attach to. So I didn't forward think. Let me just use one of the tuner screws. I can get another one later. Save me having to search through all my screws. Where are the screws? There we go. Actually, no. I've just had a thought. That's been filled in there, so I'm going to need a longer screw to make sure that goes all the way through there. So let's find some screws. So I want a long, thin screw, preferably with the underside of the screw head being flat, so that it will sit against there. Let's see what I can find. Let's see. That one looks pretty good. Put that to one side, see if that goes through the hole, and it does. I think that's probably going to be the one, but I'll just check to see if there's nothing better. Looks pretty good though. Not that one. Okay, I think, yeah, I'm happy with that one. I'm going to use that one. Okay. Let's get those out of the way. Oh, hello, wait a minute. It's going to be too thin, that one. Yeah, that was it. Okay. Right, so I probably should put the centre of this in the centre of that there. Let me just see if that looks alright. Actually, if I put that in the centre, don't know if you can see that, but the top of the eyelet is a bit too high, so I'm going to bring it down like that a bit. Okay, I need to do this in a way I can see what I'm doing. Right, so let's put that I'm going to use a centre punch to mark that position there. Okay, so that's the, I don't know if you can see, but that's the mark there where I'm going to drill that. Should be able to use the same drill bit, 1.5mm. Looks about right. Okay, so here we go. Screwdriver. Okay. Right, so going in. Let's trim it out a bit more. One more time. There she goes. Okay. almost there. I'm going to leave it a little bit loose so that it will swivel. I mean, this is just a kind of a dry setup really, because obviously I'm going to, you know, stain and or oil the whole thing anyway. But I'm pretty happy with that, how that is. So that part is below the top of here. That will work just fine. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. Right, so, yeah, so I'm leaving that so that it still swivels. Okay, so I'm going to just go and quickly drill that hole. It's not on my pillar drill, which is in the back room, so I'll just be a couple of minutes and then I'll be back, okay? Right, so that's that hole drilled through there. I will need to open the hole up a little bit to get the post in there. Needs to go a mil or two more. But I've got the hole started, so it's in the right position and we're ready to go. So, really, I think now I should glue the top in. So, let me think. Am I getting ahead of myself? No, we're good. Right, so it's going to be easier that way. Let's turn the camera back a bit. Okay. So, I'll make sure I get this perfectly right the first time, because I'll only get one shot at this. So, paintbrush, glue. I better get some paper handy to clean up any mess. Okay, so I'm going to put glue on the surface of the kerfing and around the inner edge of the lip as well. So what I'm going to do, try and make it a bit tidier, just put a dollop of glue on the back of this paper and then pick it up on the brush from there. Okay, here we go. So I want to make sure I get a decent amount of glue on here. This has got to be a very good bond. Okay, all the way around. Try not to get any on the upper edge of the lip. So, you know, we're getting fairly close to the completion on this one. I have actually contacted the customer this morning as well to ask him what string he wants on here. Giving him a few options, or he can, you know, choose something entirely different himself if he wants to. I mean, I've done a bit of research and it does seem that often these are tuned to a G, but it's optional, you know, C, E, whatever your preference is really. And you know, there are different sizes of these ones, and obviously they're strung and tuned differently, just like, you know, many types of instrument. Let's get a little bit on that edge there. You're going to need a bit more glue. So yeah, I'm waiting for the customer to get back to me to tell me how he wants it tuned and strung. Strung and tuned. I mean, I've started this early. It was about 10 o'clock when I started this morning. I'm hoping to get this finished today, and there shouldn't be any issue with that. Let's get a bit more glue up that top edge there. Side there. I don't want it to get so much glue that, you know, it all runs down inside, obviously, because I can't do anything to clean it up afterwards. Whatever runs down inside, runs down inside. So I don't want too much, but I want to make sure I've got enough to get a really good adhesion, good joint. Almost seems like the glue is running off the surface on the actual coconut shell. I didn't actually think about that. It's going to, you know, it's going to obviously contain a little bit of oil. It should be fine. Right, so the top is now going on. In. Wait, get it the right way. Okay. Pretty happy with that. For alignment. It's going in this bottom end for some reason. There we go, that's going in. Oh, beautiful. That's really nice. Make sure that's all the way down. Okay, happy with that. There we go, so that's in. Obviously I've got to figure out a way of clamping it, because I can't clamp the edges here because there's basically nothing to grip to there. So I'm probably going to have to put a clamp in the middle with fairly light pressure, because if I put too much it's going to go down in the middle and up at the edges, which I don't want. But yeah, overall that looks pretty good. Actually, that's bloody perfect. Almost perfect. Okay. Yeah. What am I doing for time? Almost running out. Okay, I'm going to figure out a way to clamp that. I'll probably just put one clamp in the middle, and in part 6 we'll be moving on to the next stage, which will probably be finishing and final assembly. Coming soon. Okay, so in the meantime, please look after yourselves, look after each other. We will see you soon. Peace out.